Hello everyone, welcome back to ROBOTBOY, and today we are continuing our reaction to the Star Citizen video, My Stars, My Destination, The Journey Towards 1.0. We've reacted to the first half of this video previously, so if you haven't seen that, go and check that out first. It ended up being quite a long video. I didn't want to make it like a 2 to 3 hour long thing because there's been so much in here, even more than I was expecting. So yeah, I've split it up. We're now going to be picking up on the player versus player section towards the end, where I think they're going to start talking about building your own space station, which is going to be really cool. All right, with that said, if you're not subscribed to the channel already, please make sure you hit that subscribe button. Did you know that 90% of you are not subscribed, which I still find kind of crazy? So yeah, hit that subscribe button, and also consider becoming a channel member if you want to help support the channel even more, and you get early access to videos like this. With that said, let's get into it.
As you know, 1.0 will contain 5 star systems. 3 of these being Lawful in Stanton, Castra, and Terra, and 2 of them being Unlawful in Pyro and Nyx. So what's the difference? Let's take a look at Stanton.
For some reason I wasn't aware that Nyx was a unlawful system. I knew that it wasn't completely controlled, like a controlled environment, but it wasn't unlawful. Wasn't super aware. Interesting.
Lawful systems will be a mixture of high, medium, and low security areas. Each of these areas will be monitored by law enforcement agencies, and depending on the location will dictate the emergency response time, with high-sec areas being the fastest. Initially, this response will be measured, but over time will escalate to overwhelming force. This means if someone is attacked, if they can just hold out for a short duration, help will be on the way.
Okay.
Pirates
so
will be able to disrupt this
wanted
monitoring
system. Those 5
shutting
stars.
down the nearby comm arrays, but this will be highlighted in your star map, with dynamic missions being generated to bring it back online. But this is the PvP you already know and experience right now, just without security forces. But before we jump into an unlawful system, let's explore what options you have if you pirate a ship. Okay, so first up, let's discuss ownership. All ships and high-value items that you own will automatically be assigned to you. This means if someone steals your ship,
Makes sense.
you can mark it as stolen, either via an insurance claim or in your Moby. This will then trigger a dead man switch on the stolen ship, meaning it will cease to function after a period of time. But what options does this leave as a pirate? Well, you can still salvage it. You can tow it back to your fabrication hangar to dismantle it for resources. Or if you have a high enough rep with the council, our criminal guild, you can get the dead man switch disabled and pay for a new title deed to become its new owner.
Okay. So many layers to this.
Also, if you're in a lawful system, you'll need to find a transient jump tunnel, as all major locations and POIs will have custom security that will scan you on arrival. Okay, so with that out of the way, let's look at the unlawful system basically. In Pyro. Unlawful systems have no laws at all, and with that comes opportunity. Pyro, as an example, has an abundance.
Interesting here at this point, Bloom looks slightly different on the imagery, as the planet here just looks so different on the screen to how it looks when you get to it. But even some of the close-ups of it that they've shown previously, again, it looks slightly different. So interesting how that has changed. We need to get back to Pyro. I think next time we play, we're gonna have to go back. It's been a minute. We've been sort of just acquiring ships, but we've just been messing around in Stanton. I think we should go back to Pyro and take some of these ships out there. Yeah. Let's do that.
High quality resources, and is a hotbed of criminal activity. The literal definition of high risk, high reward. With crafting now requiring resources, you're going to want to create bases to mine and extract them. This is where base raiding will become a new form.
So it looks very different here.
And it's founded on a combined arms ethos. Defending players will be able to add defenses such as walls, automated turrets, and most importantly, ground shields, a localized version of the planetary shields used in Lawful systems that absorb the most powerful of weaponry.
We will do a reaction to the full base building video demo, the discussion, presentation, should I say, that they've done as well. We'll do that as a separate video.
No longer can you just turn up and drop a Moab. One huge difference, though, compared to planetary shields, is that these shields can be disabled. You will have to strategically assess each base and punch your way through its defenses on foot to eventually bring down the shield generator. Once the shield is down, then you have options. You want to raise it to the ground, you can bomb it from the air. If you want to extract all the resources, though, you'll need to infiltrate the base using explosive charges and hacking while fighting off the defenders. Now, both piracy and base raiding is founded on sandbox gameplay. And again, that's the essence of Star Citizen. But we want to add more. Something where you can log on and immediately find the action and fight for a purpose.
Okay.
So first up, let's go on a history lesson. In the early 2600s, there was a fledgling corporation called SEAL that had developed a new system-wide planetary shield technology, the same technology that will provide protection for your bases today. To prove this tech, they wanted to use Nyx and Pyro systems as a testbed. With the promise of high-quality resources, SEAL lured independent miners to man the shield network.
In exchange, it's just story time. I'm enjoying this. Sorry for not saying much. I'm just enjoying the presentation.
As a prototype, SEAL couldn't provide total coverage over all the mining settlements. And so they created the SEAL Tokens program, allowing the most industrious factions to purchase shield coverage for their work.
There's just mad levels of backstory going on.
The network consisted of multiple linked bases on the ground that then linked to several stations in orbit around each planet that then connected to the nearest relay in the shield network, which eventually linked back to the shield core, which oversaw system-wide distribution of the shield technology. Factions could then earn SEAL tokens for working on any part of the network.
Okay.
They could then use these tokens to buy shield coverage. But with the competition amongst factions being so intense, SEAL was only able to offer shielding to the hardest workers. Unfortunately, due to outlaw interference, SEAL eventually pulled out of Pyro and Nyx and pushed for a more automated solution in more civilized systems.
Okay.
So fast forward to present day.
So we're going to be able to reactivate those?
Backing, they had to pull out and leave it as it is. And welcome to Station Warfare.
Okay, yeah. Nice. Proper backstory for it as well, not just like, here's some random things to do.
With the SEAL network still in place, but lacking resources, orgs can take ownership of these structures to gain access to planetary shield tech. Let's go! Which, as you know, would make their bases invulnerable. Unfortunately, there's a catch. There isn't enough to go around. And as in the good old SEAL days, the system still works via the SEAL token program. To earn tokens, you'll have to assault a location and then deposit resources to power the network. This begins with ground bases and ends at the shield core. Each structure occupied will then accrue SEAL tokens over time, with larger structures earning more, and at the end of each week, you must then use these tokens to purchase shield protection. With shield coverage being limited, though, the system automatically selects the orgs with the highest bid from across all shards. Meaning for that week only, a certain number of orgs will gain access to shield protection. So this is a chance for your org to become the de facto leader of a system. It means you'll be able to log on and immediately find the action and fight for your org. And finally, it's not just sandbox PvP or ganking. You are fighting for a purpose.
Fighting for a purpose.
So once you've won your bid, what then? Well, to talk more about that, I'd like to welcome Ian Leyland, Star Citizen's creative director, to the stage.
Crazy. Like what a gameplay loop to add in. This is unreal.
All right, hello CitizenCon. Thank you, Rich. Thank you, Dave. So to continue the conversation of large-scale in-game org activities, let's go back to Pyro 3, where the ground bases were being built earlier today. This morning, we saw the small habitat being built by Luke.
Are you guys, I'm sure a lot of you guys are parts of orgs already, but like, what is that experience like for you? Obviously, I'm just solo, free-flying, doing my own thing, and I'm enjoying that a lot, but what is the org experience like? I know a couple of my friends who play who are part of orgs, and the type of stuff that goes on is kind of mad. But yeah, let me know your experience if you're in an org. What does that look like for you? Are you excited for all of this stuff to come? Just, yeah, it's a sort of a different tier of the game I was not engaged with.
And then we saw Deck start to expand the base into a commercial enterprise.
Because these base building bits are going to be really cool.
We saw a massive example of an org base, but with everything Rich was talking about, with org system-wide activities, we want to give you guys the ultimate end goal, but also the thing we need to protect. And to do that, let's look up into the sky and see what it is.
Okay, yeah, the space station. Oh, okay. Let's say we'll cover base building in a separate video, because I mean, look at this. But I think they're going to talk about space stations. I think you can hear the guy breathing into his mic in the background. That's quite funny. There's our Zeus. Okay, so there's a C2 for scale next to it. You can see up in that top, yeah. Wow, and this is cool. This looks obviously very different to the. Look how tiny the people are. This is so different to the space stations you get around orbiting planets. This is flyable. So the space stations in game at the moment are just static, fixed points of interest. Are these flyable? Like, are they that? I'm sure we'll learn about it, but wow. Oh my god. And again, these questions will probably be answered, but is it modular? Are you building a fixed thing? We'll find out. We've still got like.
Let me introduce you
5 minutes left.
Space stations. Finally, you can build your home amongst the stars.
That's so cool.
This will be the starting point for your base of operations for system-wide org activities. But why is this an end goal? Well, first of all, to construct your own space station, it's going to require vast quantities of resources and materials. Mm-hmm. And also will be a large time investment.
Yeah, you're not going to be throwing this together quickly like No Man's Sky creative mode.
It all starts with the supply bay. And the supply bay can only be constructed by the Pioneer.
Okay. So maybe this is where different roles are going to have to come into play that they were talking about earlier in the video, or part one, if you watched the previous video.
Once it's created,
earlier
the
on
supply
this
bay then handles the
YouTube
creation of the station itself. Now, we're in grey box development phase, so the artwork's not final, but let's go on a journey and start building our space base.
Oh yeah. Mad. This is interesting because Bloom here looks like the Bloom we know, but the Bloom icon that they had looked very dissimilar, so just interesting. Man. So these are all player characters that you're seeing, I'm imagining. Like these aren't NPCs that you're seeing on a default space station. These are players here working to begin construction. Again, just the scale of the whole thing, just crazy. Wow, so you're literally offloading all of the resources from the ship, getting them onto the station. Oh, that's cool. Oh, we're gonna do a little time lapse. I mean, look how many resources are needed. That was the whole B, I want to say. I mean, just the video presentation of this alone. Super cool. Really, really cool. I just want to rewind that actually. That was awesome. So, but yeah, I mean, basically just implying this isn't going to be a quick, easy, chuck it together in a afternoon play session kind of thing.
Awesome. Awesome. So as you saw, the cargo grid of the supply bay consumes resources, and the required resources will be substantial and will need to be topped up over time. So this means orgs will be encouraged to have efficient logistic networks to feed the supply bay. And as Rich outlined with professionals,
I mean, yeah, the level of project management required.
If your org is well-rounded in terms of roles, even the starter player can contribute.
That's me.
The supply bay
I still
has
feel like a starter
automated
player.
construction zones, which are used to create the station. And unlike ground bases, many drones are used at once to create the base.
Okay.
Once the station is built, the supply bay then integrates into the station itself. So here we are. We've built our core station module, and
Wow.
it's big.
Wait. The core station module. This is like there's more? Wait, is that what?
And out of the box, the station comes readily built with some core functionality. Let me talk you through it. Right on the top is the bridge, which is the command deck. This is where all further construction is going to be managed. From here, we can then monitor the status of the entire station. We have access to power and water management. Power and cooling is something you'll need to consider carefully. It also is an area to set permissions for who can enter particular areas.
Can your space station set on fire?
Either divided by the ranks of the org itself or open to the public. And there'll be a radar station to track the activity outside the base. and the terminals to access logs of who has visited the station and see what they did. So let's jump back in game and take a stroll through our bridge.
You're gonna be getting those KPIs coming in. That is cool though. You know, to have your role and what you're doing being a small part of building something big. Really cool. I like that. Because, you know, if you have 10, 20, 30, 50, 100 people working towards it, which is how it would be. Yeah, these are the sorts of things I don't really mind them being that sort of realistically tactile, because it's I guess it's a long-term project, it's a long-term goal, it's an end game goal kind of, and that feeling of satisfaction as it all starts to come together from the work of so many individuals, that's going to be great. That's going to be really cool. Nice.
Super awesome. The back of the
Super
bridge
awesome indeed.
leads to a centralized transit network. This spine physically connects the entire station and will provide access to...
Just like you can see a hangar down here. It's sort of, the brightness is dimmed on it, but you can see the size of a ship there. I want to say that's a vulture. I might be wrong. My terminology on the ships is not super great. I think that's a vulture, but if you consider that is a ship in a hangar, and then just to then put that into perspective of how big this thing is, crazy.
The various decks. Each level in the station will have a centralized lobby area, and this is your station. You'll be able to use the decorator mode.
I actually just got kind of a bit of a chill there. I wasn't making it up. That genuinely happened. Of just like how cool this is.
Speaking of having plenty of space, this space station will have a one-to-one interior layout matching the exterior. No magic elevators.
Nice.
So you can circumnavigate around the entire perimeter, and it's wonderful. Okay, let's jump back in.
How do they might explain this. I wonder how the hangars work. Are the hangars, do you have your own hangar in an instance, or are the hangars real physical places and you have to have one for each ship, as it would be? Interesting to find out. And how much, like, it says the Holmes station. Like, can you change that? I wonder if you can change the name of the station, it would update around the ship. We could have the ROBOTBOY station. Oh, look at it. These cinematics are so cool. I'll never shut up about how well directed and choreographed all of these. Right, kind of any Star Citizen cinematic is. I'd love to do that. That'd be my dream job. Would be so cool working on cinematics for this game.
As you can see, right at the bottom
any game really,
of the central transit system leads to the lower areas. This is where you'll gain access to the engineering deck. So like bigger ships, this is where all hands-on engineering and maintenance...
Bear in mind, the time this video came out, engineering was not in the game at this point. So some of the stuff they're saying might sound like it's coming, but is actually already in there at the moment.
Gameplay happens. This will serve as the beating heart of your station. Then we have the hangar deck. And as the name implies, this is where you'll gain access to your hangar network. The base station comes with a large hangar already built, along with 2 docking collars.
Okay.
And also empty slots for another 2 medium hangars when needed.
Nice.
There'll be a vast network of internal road systems, meaning you can
the fact you need roads to be able to get around the station.
Quickly drive from one hangar to the other. No elevators needed. Okay, let's check back in.
That's fun. I like that. I imagine if your space station gets attacked and other players actually get into the station. Maybe they'll talk about that. But that would be cool. Maybe it is a persistent space, and I mean, look, there's seems to be lots of people in the same space with multiple vehicles. So so they say grey box as if it's like really unfinished, and I'm looking at this being like, this looks phenomenal. I know it is technically unfinished, but
all right. So your station,
compared to how unfinished it could be, it could literally be grey box in the definition of like literally grey cubes, untextured, low detail.
Hangar will offer some enhanced logistics.
This was a few years ago.
For example, there'll be spaces for several freight elevators. And there'll be empty modules for open ship parking for vehicles and ships, vehicles and ground vehicles. And there'll be also exit points where you can simply drive out into your station.
That's so cool.
Then there'll be also an upper level for the observation deck. From the observation deck, you'll have a control room. And from here, you'll have master control over the freight elevators and the vehicle elevators. This means that even before someone has landed, their new cargo can be up into the hangar and ready to be loaded up. Now, everything we've spoken about so far is what comes with your station. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about what you can do to expand it.
Look at that network.
As I mentioned before, the station comes with a predetermined interior network of corridors and roads. And in this network, you'll find an array of bulkhead connectors. Bulkhead connectors will come in tiers 1 to 3, which drives the size of room you're able to build.
Okay, so you can build the internal rooms.
In the interior build mode, this is where you start to expand the interior of your station.
That's cool.
The rooms will require resource and time to construct, and once built, you can rename each room, which will be reflected in the station's minimap.
Oh, that's so cool.
The interior of your station will have ample areas for you to expand. You can build generic empty rooms, and you can fill with items to your heart's content. You can also build specialist rooms, where the theme and functionality is already set for you, such as mess halls or infirmaries or generator rooms.
Oh my god.
And of course, there are shops. So similar to the small shops we built around the ground base, this is on a much bigger scale. But
oh no,
that's just
please.
The interior.
I can't take anymore. I can't take anymore.
Let's talk about the exterior. On the exterior, we have minor hard points. These are attachment points located on the upper and lower surfaces of the station. Using build mode, you can customize your station with
tiny
a
the
variety of
person is.
modules, which tailor it to specific functionality. Some modules cater towards resource collection, such as gas harvesters, while others are geared towards defense, like shields or turrets. This goes back to bridge operations of power management. A situation may arise where power priority is needed. Then we have major hardpoints. The core station module comes with two hardpoint connectors.
For what?
Major hardpoints are used to connect substantial wing additions to your station. The first example
You was just carrying on like, no big deal.
Awesome, thank you, awesome. The first example is the cargo wing. The cargo wing will dramatically increase your inventory capacity. So this is ideal for orgs who are specializing in holding. Then we have the refinery wing.
Sick. Again, just like the sense of
So
scale.
you'll be able to refine resources on a vast scale. As it's in space, it's much more convenient than traveling to a ground base.
That is true.
Now, a player could buy resources from your cargo wing and then refine it directly in the refinery wing. And finally, we have the hangar wing.
Nice.
So, all right. So, the bigger your fleet, the more hangars you'll want. There'll be a variety of hangar sizes as well as docking collars to help organize your fleet's deployment.
Yeah, so maybe you do need...
All major hardpoint wings
persistent
are connected
spaces.
via struts. And like the rest of the station, the struts are also internally traversable.
Look at this like underground space too. As you know, you've got the walkway here and the little buggies, but like all of this down here, can you get down there?
Okay, so let's recap on the exterior expansion wings. Minor hardpoints give us options on how to collect resources or provide automated defenses for your base. Major hardpoints gives us
looks like a
options
Beyblade.
on how you can
I like it.
specialize your base. Let's jump back in game and see how our base is getting on.
Ooh. Cool. Nice, so that's the cargo bay. Oh, this bit of music is just so good. Cargo, this is the refine. No, this got to be the hangar bay. Nice. Again, like, that's a hammerhead there for scale reference. How big this thing is. What a shot, look at that. Well, I paused that at the right time. Have a few frames left.
Yes, Pedro has been working with us on this as well, so thank you. Looking cool. Customization is just as important
Pedro's
as
the
expansion.
composer, I think.
Similar to ground bases,
Nice.
you'll be able
Change the
to
colour.
earn hints for your station, and you'll be able to apply decals for your org logos.
We're getting that blue or that turquoise robot boy station.
Outside of minor and major hardpoints, your station will come with 2 unique base expansion points. One on the top side behind the bridge, and one on the underside.
Wait.
The top side will be for the crow's nest.
Okay. I was going to say, we not just expanded the base.
All the other modules built so far have very specific functionality, but I'll admit, this is for the org members out there who want the ultimate in personal space.
Is it going to lift up? I mean, yeah, that ride, like getting on that elevator and doing that, that's going to be a sight. Just a single chair, just one single armchair right at the front there. Just below. Nice.
All right.
I feel like they're going to imply you can make it even bigger.
So I'm going to be flying around the verse, and I want personal invitations to see what you've done in those rooms, okay? Super cool. I can't wait to see what you do with it. Now let's talk about the underside. This is going to be for the flight deck, which also comes with an additional 3 major hardpoints.
What?
The flight deck is perfect for your rapid reaction forces. It's ideal for fighters, but big enough to fit most ships. It's the perfect home for your station's defensive air wing. And just like the hangars, there'll be an observation deck which can override freight elevators, making rearming quicker and easier during operations. So an org with a tight flight deck crew can be substantially more efficient than others. Now,
imagine you're being attacked. Everyone to the flight deck. Just everyone jump in, firing out. Like,
this one's my favorite. Let's take a look.
Oh, they might just show us exactly what I've just described. My favorite. Well, the Gary Oldman reference. Huh? Oh yeah, nice. Ooh, that's cool. You can be my wingman anytime. Sweet. But you can get what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 fighters on there.
All right. There's a few little Easter eggs in that video. But why do you need a flight deck for your rapid
What are the Easter eggs? Tell me in the comments what were the Easter eggs in that video?
defenses force? Well, if you've built your super awesome station in a super lawless system, Now you're the potential targets for others. Everyone will have their eyes on your resources and wonder what gear.
Imagine how scary that would be, though, to see like an enemy org's ship, or even not even an enemy org, just you're in a lawless system and you're just going about your day. You're just pottering about, and you just see this thing looming on the horizon, and you're just in your little Mustang or whatever, and yeah, you just see that like silhouetted against the sky, like the Death Star or something up there, and you're just like, there's a whole group of people up there who might do some bad things to me, or vice versa. Like, just imagine just soloing it, like, yeah, crazy.
You've got in your inventories. And let's say we didn't win the station warfare bid that Rich mentioned. Let's take a look at the inevitable.
Like, that could be so fun to try and, I don't know how it works in terms of like defenses or scanning or radar and all that, but like, could you sneak onto an enemy, or like, could we do that? Like, just me on my own, get near enough, try and sneak onto this space station. That could be really fun. Some of the ground base too. Yeah, if you landed far enough out, could you try and sneak into an enemy's base? On how that would work. All right, well, off they go. I wonder if there are any NPCs on the ship. There must be, right? If you can have a shop and stuff, there must be some NPCs. I mean, this is just insane. Oh, they are boarding. I mean, this is obviously a targeted attack. I wonder how effective you could be just as a solo player, or like a couple of you doing this. That was cool though. Grenade! Oh. Cool. Yeah, nice.
Okay, so not only is your station a staging area for offensive campaigns, it's also a defensive fortress. The exterior of the station itself can take quite a beating. It's going to be very hard to damage. So the goal of attackers instead will be to punch a hole through the defenses and get inside. The optimal way to do this will be to infiltrate through the flight deck or EVA hatches and work your way up.
That would be fun.
Once inside...
Oh my god, I didn't even think about the fact you could put a tank in there.
Once inside, and you've cleared out a hangar, you may also want to consider airlifting in a tank or two to clear some corridors.
That's cool.
Raiders will have to hack freight elevators or bulkheads in order to gain access. And of course, bring enough ships with them to start hauling out the loot. Gaining control of the bridge will allow access to storage, which would otherwise be unhackable. So, as a defender, there are a variety of automated defenses you're able to install internally within the station, such as blast doors, which seal shut, systems to be breached, and a range of turrets like anti-vehicle or anti-personnel.
I mean, imagine the scale of this like when it's actually all happening in game naturally.
All help slow down the attack and give time for your reinforcements to show up. So let's do a final recap. This is one of the end game goals for dedicated orgs, and will be your base of operations
see one of these
for
one day.
system-wide activities. The station can be customized both in the interior and the exterior, meaning you can tailor it to your own requirements. And it's your very own home amongst the stars.
Love that.
But wait.
Okay, I was going to say something, but
But wait. There's one more unique module we can build,
yes.
and that is the dry dock.
Okay. Oh, that really rounds the whole thing off.
This unique slot will be at the back of the station. It has its very own dedicated observation room with crafting stations, and has a transit tram which runs along the inside of the arms, leading to the docking collars where your ship will be constructed. So, the only question still remains: what sizes of ship can we build? Let's take a look.
So my only final question, which they haven't answered yet, is, can you move the space station once it's built? Or is it permanently fixed in a space? Can you move it within a star system? I imagine you couldn't move it to another star system. That would make sense to me, but could you, if we built it in Pyro, would you be able to move it from one planet to another, to like the middle of absolutely nowhere? Like, yeah, I wonder how that works. What's going to be there? Is that...
Yes.
I'm hazy on what ship this is. A big one, that's for sure. There's our trusty C1. Just mad that, like, there's a space station with a ship that could house other ships, that could house other vehicles in them. Just like levels and levels and levels. Wild. Oh, off it goes. I mean, look at that. Wait! I knew it! Oh my gosh, so you can connect to other mod. Oh my goodness. Crazy.
Thanks, Ian. So now we're talking. Multiple stations linking and dry docks to craft your very own capital ships. The ultimate end goal for any org.
Capital ships, cool.
Okay, so let's take a step back.
I mean, what a presentation.
At the beginning of this presentation, I mentioned we
1.0 is looking very cool.
had 3 types of players and 1 universe. And hopefully you can see we have purposeful gameplay catering to each type of player. But that wasn't the only goal. It was to build a game that connected all 3 together cohesively. And this is where you come in. The community, the lifeblood of Star Citizen. Whether you're a PvE player delving for unique crafting blueprints, a non-combat player mining for high-quality resources, or building a base with your friends.
Hell yeah.
Or a PvP player fighting for your org in station warfare to protect your base. Each one of you supports each other. You need the blueprints to craft, you need the resources to make them, and you need the equipment and protection to be safe. This is what Star Citizen is.
This is it. This is 1.0.
It's a universe that caters to all players. Now, I could probably go on for another 10 hours deep diving into each system. But I do Jared out of a job, and he needs future ISCs and SC Lives and CitizenCons. Today was to reaffirm what type of game we are making. And I hope you continue to come with us on this journey as we march towards Star Citizen 1.0.
Hell yeah. Nice. Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, what a presentation. 1.0 sounds very, very exciting. So this came out in 2024. Obviously, we're 2026 now. We've got Squadron 42 on the horizon, technically, as it's supposed to be coming this year. Still haven't heard anything on it. We're in April. We're a third of the way into the year. And I believe what people have said in the comments too is that once Squadron 42 is like out, pretty much all of that dev team, which is a lot of people, will all then filter over to the main persistent universe, and that will just ramp up production even more. So, I mean, what are your guys' prediction on when 1.0 is gonna come out? Is 2028 sound reasonable enough to you? Maybe. To me, that sounds like it could be a potential. Some of you might think that's just way too soon still. Like, is it 2030? Or is there an absolute... Are you crazy and you're thinking next year, 2027? Yeah, let me know your thoughts. But yeah, 1.0 sounds super promising. A really, really cool gameplay loop, progression system, all of that. I'm excited to get into it. And yeah, have a real dedicated purpose and narrative thread to go through and take us on the journey throughout the Star Citizen universe and get to those 2 other systems as well. I mean, we've still got Nyx to come, the planets anyway, to come later this year. So yeah, cool. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks if you stuck around this long. I really appreciate it. Give the video a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you haven't already, become a channel member to support the channel and get early access to videos like this. With that, I'll see you all in the next video.